Hi everybody. I got out of the hospital Thursday afternoon. I went in. I can't even remember if it was. I think it was Monday. I'm not really sure. Um, but I had a pain that, like with Crohn's, I normally have like a lower pain. Um, but I felt like I had like just this pain right here, and it was kind of radiating to the back. And it turns out that I had a small bowel obstruction, and it's so frustrating because I'll tell y'all, this happens every time to me almost, it seems. It was a complete obstruction. I could not go to the bathroom at all. The first thing that they wanted to do was place an NG tube, and that's just a tube they put through your nose. It goes down your stomach. It sucks out like all the nasty contents and all that. It looks really nasty. Like people on my Facebook and all that have like old blood was coming out because I have a lot of other issues that go on, and I'm not gonna get into it. But we're just gonna focus on this experience in the hospital and just the complication in general. With Crohn's disease, sometimes you get these things called strictures, and it's basically where your intestine, it binds to itself. Kind of connects itself. It causes narrowing in some areas. 3 months ago, I think it was probably 4 or 5 months ago by now at this point, I'm like I said, like I'm having a little bit of a slow brain day. But I had intussusception, which basically is where your bowel telescopes. And since then, I've been having just what seems like I'm always flaring because it's not responding to any kind of medicine they've given me thus far. So it's. I don't like to pause and edit my videos, my health videos, because that would defeat the point of showing part of what my lupus and brain atrophy or whatever does as well. Sometimes I just completely blank out and I forget what I'm talking about, and I'm just gonna keep that real. Sometimes I'll need a second just to remember, but basically, I was admitted into the hospital, of course, and I expected to go into surgery. They said the surgeon was going to come in the next morning and speak with me, because that's what you do when you have a bowel obstruction. And we were going to see if between that moment and then if the NG tube was going to help break up the obstruction. Well, I ended up not seeing the surgeon the entire time I was there up until about 10 minutes before I left against medical advice again. But, basically, after having the tube for 2 or 3 days, my lupus began to flare pretty bad because my body was rejecting the tube. There was, like I said, I was bleeding, and it was so painful. Even like I mean, I was waking up crying constantly. They had to keep me sedated a lot of the time. I just slept a lot for the most part. But long story short, by the time I saw the surgeon, which was Thursday morning, 2-3 days later, I had something called a small bowel series, which is where normally people have to drink it. Thankfully, I didn't have to drink it. That was the one positive thing about the tube, is they got to like pour it down my tube, but I ended up throwing it up, and then throwing up with the tube is like horrible. But my obstruction had gone and it turned into a partial obstruction. So that means that some things can pass, just not pretty and all that wonderful stuff. But so they wanted to keep me there for an additional 3 to 4 days on bowel rest, meaning that would be another 3 or 4 days without food and water. And they were giving me all my nutrients through something called a banana bag. It was this giant bag of like, I could see why they call it a banana bag, and it just gave me like, you know, everything my body needed. Which at that point you're not hungry anyway. I mean, you feel horrible, and then all the drugs they push make you feel worse. And they wanted to do a colonoscopy, and I'm already awaiting my specialist to call me, where I already have to have one soon anyway. So what's the point of having another? But what the surgeon said to me really got to it. Didn't, like, not in a bad way. It's irritating. That's what this video is about. It's frustrating. Because she told me, you know, like most surgeons, she loves her job. She likes to, you know, cut and, you know, save lives and do all this cool stuff. But a Crohn's patient is the last person that they want to operate on. Told me straight up, and I think that's why most doctors really rub me the wrong way when they come in and they're like, you know, you don't have an obstruction anymore. And, which is so frustrating, because once you're there for so many days and you want them to go in there and, you know, take out part, it's to the point where I want them to take out this part of my bowel so I can have a better quality of life for myself and my daughter. And it's just, it works itself out every time. And I think, you know, that's probably God saving me from more trouble down the road, because as the surgeon explained, the strictures are just gonna, you know, they can take out that spot, but it can just, with the Crohn's, you have it for life. I mean, it is a lifelong autoimmune disease where your body is just going to continue to attack itself, taking out a section when I'm not dying on the table kind of thing, is basically, like, what I'm trying to say is I have to be perforated and septic or dying on the table for someone to want to cut open a Crohn's patient and resect bowel and all that, because when you open them up again, she basically said it's like there's a tornado inside. The Crohn's attacks the healing tissue, and it's just a huge mess of your body attacking itself. And I've been dealing with this for over a year now, and it's just so exhausting on top of all my other issues. While I was there, I was given like antibiotics, steroids, like around the clock. I received my blood pressure stayed around 88/44. It was bottomed out a lot of the time because I had an obstruction. Once it became partial, my blood pressure did get better. I don't know the blood thinners, the shots in my stomach I got. I don't know if those had to do with my blood pressure or just to make sure I don't get any clots. I don't know, but it flared my endo, which when you put that and Crohn's together is like just like two tornadoes collide and become one giant tornado. So that caused a lot of bleeding, and it's just, I wanted to put this video out there on it's mostly going for my YouTube channel, but just because it's to explain to one, family and friends real quick, that, you know, I am feeling somewhat better. Like, you know, my body still hurts and I'm still healing because my body completely rejected the tube. And but through God, I like, you know, just praying and doing my Bible study and all that, I have been given the something my grandma posted. I can't remember it word for word, but the strength to endure. It's a song by Even If, or it's Even If by Mercy Me. It's just, sometimes, you know, God can take this away, the snap of a finger. And even if he doesn't, you still put your faith and your hope in him. And he has gotten me through the last 2 days, and they've been pretty hard. Honestly, just taking care of my daughter and waking up to do so. And of course, it gets done because I'm a child of God, and I'm thankful for that. But other than that, it's to share really with other people who might wonder what are some complications that I might face with a new Crohn's diagnosis or something like that. If you're living with Crohn's, you probably totally, completely understand where I'm going, what I'm saying, and for those newly diagnosed that stumbled upon this video, I'm so sorry what you're going through. This is just simply one of the many complications. I was about to say multiplication complications that I myself have experienced. It's just constant obstructions that resolve because of the stricture and the narrowing. One day I will perforate, I'm sure, and part of me hopes I do, because if you could take away that part and I have 6 months of like awesome, feeling good, well, as good as I can, minus some Crohn's issues, I will totally go for it. Like, I told my mom I would rather be dead than have a bag, and I will take a bag if that means that my life would be better, honestly, because it's like I like to put on my makeup and do my hair for a lot of my autoimmune issues, just to illustrate that you can look a certain way on the outside and body be killing itself on the inside. But I just want you to know there's hope. You will get through it. I am excited to find a medicine that works for me, as I pray that you find a medicine that works for you. And just God bless and good luck on your Crohn's journey. You're not alone. Don't be afraid to spread awareness. I know it's something that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but it needs to be talked about, because if you don't talk about it, you're not going to help other people. And in the end, isn't that what it's about? Loving and helping others. So Godspeed.